Hi everyone, I hope you all are doing well. So yes, this is our 7th chapter of economic survey. We are done with the 6 chapters and we'll see that what all is included in it. So yes, we are done with the 6 chapters basically, and today we are going to talk about industry. We are going to talk about the manufacturing sector as well. So yes, before I start the introduction of the manufacturing sector, what is said in your your economic survey, that basically if I talk about the previous times, it has gone through lots of ups and downs, because since it has gone, there is a lot of geopolitical tension that is going on. So of course there's an impact on manufacturing sector also. Similarly, if I talk about the supply chain disruption, of course it has impacted our manufacturing our manufacturing sector. And similarly, we have a lot of tensions, your global tensions that are going on. But still, if I talk about the position of manufacturing sector, it is still at a better position. Now we'll talk all about your transformation in the global manufacturing. We'll see what are the sectoral trends that are said here. We'll see the way forward as well, but one by one we'll see it. Now what is specifically mentioned in the global manufacturing landscapes, that if I specifically talk about manufacturing sector, and if I specifically see the period of a decade, then high income countries are the one who have faced a lot of problems here. But similarly, if I talk about the middle income countries, they have seen a lot of improvement, particularly in the manufacturing sector. And similarly, if I talk about the low income countries, so they have also somewhere or another contributed here. But now talking about the India's perspective, how they have made you can say contribution here. Now comparing it with China is the one who has done a lot of you can say contribution in the manufacturing sector particularly. But still the contribution of India is very, very low. But still, if I consider the contribution, it has also considered it as a pie. So this has what is mentioned here. Now you can see that if I specifically talk about India, so it holds just 2.8%. But if I specifically talk about China, so its contribution is just near to 28.8% or something, but it still contributes. It is still contributing. This is what has been mentioned in this particular survey. Now you can see here that there is a shift in the global manufacturing. We used to see that high income countries used to contribute a lot in the manufacturing, but that trend has changed over decade. High income countries are watching somewhere ups and downs in the contribution to the manufacturing sectors, and middle income countries are taking its benefit. They are at a better stance because they are contributing more. Now here you can see that high income nations lost market share and China dominated upper middle income growth has been seen there. And similarly, if I talk about the India, it has improved its global manufacturing share despite lower middle income stagnation, but still it has contributed somewhere. It is being said that India has contributed a little pie in the manufacturing sector also. Now before I move towards, I want to ensure this thing that whatever the I would say the conceptual knowledge that is very necessary to tell you, I'll decode that. Otherwise we have a lot of that data. We'll go through that one by one, and I'll somewhere or in between I'll make myself out of the screen so that you can see the proper data, and I'll keep on decoding that to you. Now what has been said by IMF here, so it notes manufacturing shift towards China and India, offering a diversification method here. Diversification method as in here particularly talking about the benefits that is being provided to the middle income countries. If we specifically talk about even India, which is your low middle income country, so that has been observed by IMF also. Now here what is the factors that are referring to it? So basically what I told you, that there are a lot of geopolitical tensions going on. Similarly, supply chain disruption is also there. Inflation, there was an impact of inflation also. So these are the global challenges which has made this particular stance. So now you will see what are the challenges that are referred to here. So you can see the trade and industrial policy that are creating external competition risks. This is one of the risks that is associated with it. Similarly, you can see that there is a shift in the global consumption. That is also one of the challenges here, and we have to meet it. Similarly, prices, inflation is another challenge. Similarly, you can see that what are the key hurdles, which I already have told you. There are a lot of geopolitical tensions that are going on. Basically, I'm talking about the wars that are going on. Supply chain disruption is also there. Changing Western, changing the ideas of the Western country. When I talk about the new Western ideology, that is also there. That is also bringing somewhere change in it. Next of the things that are here, regional conflicts are there, emission reduction pressure is there, in rise in the logistic cost is there, and rest of the things which are associated with it. Now you have global manufacturing output, which just rose only by 0.4%, which is very, very less if I specifically talk about the quarter 3 2024. Okay. Now we'll see that what is the way forward. So, this particularly survey is saying that we need to invest a lot many things. Firstly, we need to see that how our manufacturing sector is getting impacted. We have to properly get ourselves into the research and development. We have to put, a lot of efforts in it. We have to put a lot of money. Simultaneously, we have to put a lot of ideas also here just to bring more improvement here. So, academic wise, otherwise, everything is important here. So, we have to collaborate with the private sector, government also for long-term collaboration, skilling ecosystem, academia, research and development, financial institutes, so that we can bring improvement here. Now we'll see that what are the industrial growth trends. So here we'll see one by one, including each and every sector, that what basically is their growth. So similarly, you can see if I specifically talk about the industrial sector, that includes your mining, your utilities, your construction, your manufacturing. So rest of the things are included here. So they have been hit by pandemic-led contraction that was there in financial year 21. So we are very well known with this thing. When I gave an example, geopolitical tensions there are, and there are a lot of tensions that are going on at a global perspective. Inflation is just a part of it. Now inflation, I would say it is just an after effect of the policies, or of the thing that was hit by just the pandemic situation was there. So that is an after effect, which is our inflation. So of course a lot of things are getting hampered out of it. Similarly, manufacturing sector is the one who have been hampered out of that situation. That is the reason we are watching a slow growth here. Now financial year 2025 growth at 6.2%, surpassing the previous 5-year average, driven by electricity as well as construction. So we are here improving. Here we are here watching some improvement, which is specifically contributed by your electricity as well as your construction sector, which is here at 6.2%. It is just higher if I compare it with the past 5 years. Now you can see here that the financial year 2025, if I specifically talk about quarter 2 financial year 2025, what are the factors of the slowdown, that is at 3.6%. It is just at 3.6%. Now we'll see that what are the factors that are behind it. So manufacturing exports have been declined. This is one of the factors. Monsoon impact is there. That is another factor. So these are the factors which are specifically mentioned in the economic survey. Now you can see that we'll see the growth in various components and capacity utilization in industry. So you can see that industry, in the financial year 20 se leke 24 tak, what has been improvement here. Similarly, if I talk about the your financial year 2025, so you can see there is an industrial, you can see rise here. Similarly, you have construction, which is again rising. You have electricity, gas, again rising. Manufacturing, you have a rise. I'm comparing here both of the years. Okay, among the years, a comparison has been made among the years, right, from 2020 se leke 2024, and specifically we are comparing these years specifically with 2025. You have mining and quarrying as well. Now here you can see that IIP NCU has been taken care of, and you can see the data here. Now we'll move towards the PMI manufacturing as well as the optimistic as well as pessimistic. So you can see the data, it is just lying at 56.4%, and here is what is being decoded here, that if it is increasing over the period of time, it is optimistic, it is considered to be as optimistic, and if it is decreasing, the bar has been given here. If it is decreasing, then there's a pessimistic situation. Now we'll see that what are the recent domestic developments which are there. Wait. Yes. So sectoral analysis as well as future outlook. So considering your industrial segment review, including your core industries, which are 8. Similar, your capital goods, consumer goods. Now the key themes are going to be what? R&D, SMEs, as well as your state level industrial variations. We will discuss about the policy strategies also, which are there to bring improvement here. Now first we'll see about the cement sector. Now if I specifically talk about the contribution of the cement sector, particularly talking about the India. So it is reaching at second position, just you can say after China. So we are the largest global producer after China. And if I specifically talk about the cement industry, it is stands as in I'm here talking about the growth of the cement industry. It is growing. It is just at a glance, it is growing over the period of time. Now the industry position, the industry composition basically, so it is 159 integrated large plants are there, 128 grinding units are there. Similarly, your 5 clinkerization units are there, 62 mini plants are also there, and annual installment kitni hai? Annual installment capacity is 639 your million tons. And similarly, if I talk about the production that is there in financial year 2024, so it was 427 million tons. Now we'll see about the geographical concentration, that where is the basically in which areas the most of the concentration there is. So we can see 87% of the production is clustered in Rajasthan, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Karnataka, MP, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, UP, Chhattisgarh, Orissa, Meghalaya, as well as your West Bengal. So 87 production is just lying in these many areas. Demand and growth drivers ki agar main baat karu, so you can see here that per capita cement consumption is just 290 kilograms. Key demand drivers kya hai? Government mega projects, which includes your highways, railways, housing, rural, and your industrial development also. So where is the demand? High demand is coming from the government initiatives only. We see that we are putting a lot of efforts in the infrastructure. So cement ki jo demand hai, that is coming high from the government initiatives that it is continuously taking. Now we'll see the sustainability efforts. So industry actively is working on the carbon emission reduction by 2070. So we can here talk about the zero target. Okay, we have to achieve, we have to ensure this thing, that we have to reduce our carbon emission by zero target by 2070. So this is what we are talking about here. Now you can see the production of cement. So that is the data that is linked here. Similarly, you can see installed capacity in each region. So you can see whatever the data has been given, you can just see it. Okay, now we'll talk about the core input industry, specifically about your steel overview. Steel sector ki ab hum baat karenge. So here we are considering the core industries, out of which we have already done with cement. Now is the turn of steel. So you can see here that the production and growth trends ki agar main baat karu, so we have plus 3.3% rise here. Finished steel ki agar main baat karu, so we have 4.6% rise here. Now there is a monthly you can say the steady demand despite monthly fluctuations also. Now what are the key drivers which are bringing improvement in this particular sector? So infrastructure push. Now the government that is continuously working on the upbringing of the on the betterment of the infrastructure and the betterment of the connectivity. We are continuously coming up with the you can say your infrastructure projects. You have that metros, you have bullet trains, you have installation of highways, roads, waterways, airways. So that is continuously getting installed here, that where the most of the your steel is going on. End user production ki expansion ki agar main baat karu, so construction, engineering, packaging, as well as automobiles is also there. Major demand share includes your construction as well as your infrastructure, 68%. Engineering and packaging includes 22%, and automobiles include 9%. Now trade trends. So India ki agar main baat karu, so net steel importer is it, and we have exports being declined due to price gap between the domestic as well as the international market. Cheaper imports are available here, as well as lower export margins. It has impacted your trade balance. Trade balance as in that how it is just a balance between your exports and imports. If your exports are equivalent to exports, if your exports are equivalent to imports, we call it trade balance. But this is just very hypothetical situations. It can never happen that a particular country has a trade balance that is just equivalent to each other. This can never happen. Of course, your imports, or I would say if your exports are more than imports, that is a good situation. But if your imports are more than exports, then that is a problematic situation for that particular country. Now we'll see the sustainability as well as recycling initiatives. So steel recap. Steel scrap recycling policy promotes the efficient scrap use. Steel scrap consumption 30 metric ton, it includes imports, which is 5 metric ton. And similarly, sustainability benefits, energy saving is there, 40% less water use is there, and 58% lower emission is also there. Now this tells you the sector wise steel demand. So you can see buildings demand जो है वो इतनी है. Similarly, automobiles जो है वो इतना demand कर रहे हैं. Defense जो है, that is demanding this much only. Now this is the situation financial year 2020. Now specifically talking about the 2024, so the defense has been same. There is a very epsilon, I would say, improvement here. Rest of the sectors, if I include infrastructure, there's an improvement here. Next is your automobiles. There the situation has been almost same. Defense mein the almost situation is same. Similarly, you have what? You have buildings and construction that has been improved over the period of time. So you can see here. Now we'll see the chemical, petrochemical capital as well as your consumer goods industry. So chemical and petrochemical industry ki baat karo, so you can see the contribution here. So it is contributing 9.5%, and India is a net importer of chemicals and petrochemical intermediates. Similarly, import dependency kitni hai? It is just 45%. Now key focus areas are what? Just reduce the gap, the supply and demand gap, just for self-reliance. We have to ensure this thing that we are focusing less on imports, and whatever we are importing from the rest of the nations, we have to ensure this thing that we are producing it in our own nation. So that is what has been specifically mentioned in the survey. Now we'll see the capital goods industry. Okay, capital goods industry, where it is the products are coming in your country which are able to generate asset as well as to lower your liabilities also. So volatile growth is there, and but a stronger recovery can be seen in financial year 2024. Challenges what are there? High import dependency due to technological gap in high end machines. So of course we have to become your your import substitution. We have to adopt import substitution using various steps. Next is government intervention. So phase 2 of the capital good competitiveness scheme includes your technology innovation portals, new centers of excellence, common engineering facility centers. Similarly, if I talk about smart manufacturing and industry 4.0 initiatives. Now they have specifically talked about industry 4.0, which includes many things. Okay. Now industry 4.0 says that over the period of time, what technologies we are introducing in our industry, you can say the numbers also going on changing. Similarly, we have industry 5.0 also. Firstly, let's see that what is included in 4.0. So you have an amalgamation, or you can say introduction of robotics, you have an introduction of AI, you have an introduction of Internet of Things in your industries. So that makes industry 4.0. Whereas if I talk about industry 5.0, that means that it is specifically mentioned in 5.0 that you have to work, industries have to work along with robots as well as humans. We cannot just rely on this thing that robots are just replacing humans. We cannot move with that. We want that humans as well as robots are making, are just working together. And similarly, if I talk about sustainability also, that is also seen in the industry 5.0. So Samarth Udyog centers have been opened, which supports your your SMEs in adoption of advanced technologies. Similarly, you can see here, this is the data that is just regarding to your chemicals as well as your petrochemicals. There's an improvement here. So just you can see it. Now we'll see the automobile sector, what are the key economic drivers. So expansion of automobile, your domestic vehicle production. So automobile mein kahan pe improvement hai? Just in the domestic areas only. Sales has been increased, of course, plus 12.5% is there. But if I talk about this current situation, this has been the situation of the last year. But if I consider the situation of today, so a lot of automobile, the automobile sector is just you can say facing a downfall here, because the cars as well as the EVs are not, no one is purchasing that. Very less number of people are purchasing that. That is the reason the automobile sectors, you can see now that they are continuously declining the prices of the cars and the EVs as well. So they are just continuously decreasing the prices so that people can get attracted out of it and they can start purchasing your cars as well as your vehicles. So government support kya hai? PLI has been extended 1 year. Now we'll see about the electronics industry. So rapid growth in the domestic production has been seen. It includes financial year 15 includes 1.90 lakh crore, and if I talk about financial year 24, so it includes 9.52 lakh crore, which is very attractive. Similarly, smartphone manufacturing की अगर मैं बात करूँ, so you can see 99% of smartphones now have been made domestically. That is a good thing. Growth drivers क्या हैं? So we have large domestic market, specifically in the electronics system. Skilled workforce we have, and we are able to purchase, I would say that we are able to hire labor at a very low cost. That is a very good situation for every company. Now here the key growth drivers include your Make in India, Digital India initiative, ease of doing business, as well as incentives. Now we'll see towards the PLI system scheme is there in electronics and white goods. So white goods includes similarly, if I talk about the sector specific approach, it avoids one size fits all model. Now impact क्या है mobile manufacturing के ऊपर? So you can see 2023 में only 4% is imported, while there is a surge in the exports. Now we'll see that white goods includes what your that is just a part of your ACs as well as your LED lights that are just your white goods. So it has increased just because value addition, domestic value addition has been done here. Now FICCI report says that local production of key AC components, compressor हो गया, motor हो गया, heat exchangers हो गया. So that should be done in a local by the local producers only. Similarly, developed a robust domestic value chain. Now we'll see the chart that tells you about the situation. So we can see here that we have a overall mixed growth trend in the automobiles. Now we'll see the robust production trend. So production trend की अगर मैं बात करूँ, so you can see that this has been a surge, you can see by yourself. Now we have industry significance, or I would say that here we are going to talk about the textile industry. So we can see here that it is a major employment generator. ठीक है, almost 11% जो है, we are including it in the GVA. It is a leading producer specifically in jute, and coming second on cotton, silk, and man-made fiber also. Now the man-made fiber says that we have a lot of dominance of the man-made fiber in the entire world, and we need to develop ourselves in that market also. Now global position की अगर मैं बात करूँ, so 6th largest textile and apparel exporters we are, and 4% of share is there in global trade, 8% share is there in the India's your merchandise exports. Similarly, if I talk about the export trend, so you can see that financial year 2022 was just peaking near $44.44 billion, and similarly if I compare it with your financial year 2024, so you can see 33 something is there, 35 something is there. And strategy shift की अगर मैं बात करूँ, so diversifying exports beyond the traditional market. So we have we are specifically here talking about the man-made fibers. So the survey says that we have a lot of opportunities. Your man-made fiber is a dominant in the entire world, and we need to improve ourselves in that. Now specifically talk about the this is also been mentioned that this is the next frontier. It has a dominance over the rest of the market. So technical textiles की अगर मैं बात करूँ, so you can see we are at the 5th largest market globally. Market जो India का market size है, that is $26.8 billion. Net exporters की अगर मैं बात करूँ, so we are holding 2.58 billion in financial year 2024. Government push की अगर मैं बात करूँ, so you can see PLI scheme is pushing it. Quality control orders is also giving a push to this. Now what are the challenges? So you can see MSME dominance is there. It limits the scale as well as efficiency. Fragmentation is there, which includes your high logistics cost. Cotton dependency is also there, and we have a lot to be there to be included in the investment. Also, since we have low investment, we need a lot of investment in this particular sector. Now this you can see the chart what says that ready-made garments includes this, man-made textiles includes this, cotton textiles is also contributing much, handlooms handicrafts की अगर मैं बात करूँ, so we have this much area only, and garments includes this much area only. Now we'll talk about the pharmaceutical industry, and we all know that pharmaceutical, specifically talking about India's stance. So you can see here that pharmaceuticals में we are the leading players. ठीक है, we are very rich in producing quality medicines, specifically talking about the generic medicines, and we are very rich in providing, in making available to our people at a very affordable rate. So that is what is our stance at the when I specifically talk about the pharmaceutical sector. Now you can see that we are the largest globally, by value, and diverse product portfolio is there, which includes your generics, bulk drugs, OTC medicines, vaccines, biosimilars, as well as your biologics as well. Now we have financial year 2022-2023 output that includes 4.56 lakh crore, and 24 की अगर मैं बात करूँ so that includes 4.17 lakh crore. Specifically talking about the exports as well as imports, exports contain 2.19 lakh crore, imports contain 58,440 crore. Now we can see that we are highly dependent on the APIs as well as your KSMs. Now we need to see that what are the government initiatives that is bringing improvement here. So again, PLI scheme is bringing improvement here, and we are specifically enhancing our pharma in the MSME clusters as well. Now here we have medical devices industry, which includes that we are growing at 15% of CAGR, 1.5% of global market share is there, and we are at the fourth largest in Asia. Now global performance की अगर मैं बात करूँ, so you can see here that if I specifically talk about the data that was there in quarter 3 2024, so US ने contribution कितनी है, 4.8% contribution, 4.7% contribution is there. There is a surge in the Japan by 1.4%. China जो है, it is at a you can say at a normal situation, which is 0.9. Decrease देखने को मिला है Switzerland में by 2.1%, and we have seen decrease in India also by 1.2%. Now what are the innovations that can be included here? So cell and gene therapy, India's first CAR-T therapy approved in October 2023. New drug approvals has been there. Local trial waivers for drugs already approved in the US, UK, EU, Japan, Canada, as well as Australia. Now we need to focus more on research and development. That is what has been mentioned in this particular survey. Now we see that we need to strengthen our India's digital intellectual property ecosystem as well, and we are ranking 6th globally in the patent fillings. Now we'll see about the India's innovation and research and development landscape. So you can see here that IP reforms are been there, and simplification expedited patent examination for startups are needed. Similarly, you can go through the this data also. Now we'll see the research and development that shows a critical gap here. So India's gross research and development expenditure is just was just 60,196 crore if I specifically talk about financial year 11. Now if you compare it with financial year 2021, so you can see that 1,27,381 crore, it has been a great surge here. Now talking about gross research and development expenditure as per percentage of GDP, so that was your 0.64%. Now if I talk about China, that is 2.1%. so you see the gap. There is a lot of gap here, so we need to fulfill it. Now US, Japan, South Korea is just lying at 2.5% से लेके 4% तक. Now who funds R&D? So India में क्या है? It is this fund is dominated by the government of India, and also if I talk about a global perspective, so private जो sector है, it contributes more than the 70% in the USA, China, Japan, South Korea. That is the reason there is a more surge in research and development if I compare it with the rest of the nation. Now what can be your way forward here? So enhance industry, encourage your private sector, shift to the basic research, shift from the basic research to the applied research, strengthen your innovation structure, expand your R&D also. Now we'll see that what does this data say. So you can see that trademark registrations is this much, and trademarks that has been filled there is a lot of gap between both of them. Now you can see that this is proprietary that has been filled, and copyrights that have been registered. So this is the case here. Now we'll move towards the strengthening of the India's MSME sector, key reforms as well as future outlook. So you can see that if I particularly talk about MSME, so this is what? This is a backbone of our Indian economy. This is a backbone of our Indian economy. Now if I talk about the situation, so this is the second largest employment generated after agriculture, and 23.24 crore individuals have been employed here. Okay, now we'll see the key initiatives that are there to formalize and support the MSME. So we have Udyam registration portal. Simplified self-declaration declaration plan that is based on the MSME registration Udyam assistance to platform hai. It has formalized 2.39 crore informal micro enterprises credit guarantee jo act hai. It has given 9,000 crore of corpus facilitating 2 lakh credit crore of credit. Increased credit limit 2 crore se kitna ho chuka hai? It has been 5 crore. Now the reduce in the guarantee fees by 50% is seen. Now we'll see the financing as well as liquidity support for MSME. So we have TREDS, which is your trade receivables discounting system, which says that RBI regulated platform which ensures timely payment for the MSMEs. It reduces the financial cost via auction based invoice discounting. Now government PCUs which are linked to it like BHEL, NTPC, ONGC have been onboarded, and similarly you can see that mandatory for the companies with the 250 plus CR turnover is necessary. Goa and Tamil Nadu have been successfully using TREDS for MSME payments. Now self-reliant India fund is just your 50,000 crore corpus. Now the next delayed payment, that redressal for which we have MSME Samadhan. Samadhan means what? That you are giving solution. So 2.2 lakh applications have been filled. Now similarly you can see that what has been considered here. Technology and cluster developments for MSMEs have also been made, which includes your MSE cluster development program, and common facility centers are also there just to give boost to tech as well as your skills also. Now what can be the future here of MSMEs? So we need to increase an excess of credit as well as your financial mechanism. Also we need to expand digital adoption as well as your e-market linkages for the MSMEs. We need to strengthen our industries, collaborative government collaboration for the innovation as well as technology. We need to promote our global competitiveness also. Now you can see that there is a proper surge in the Udyam portal. The registrations have been increased here. Now we'll see the policies for the greater equity in the state-wise industrial production. So you can see the situation here. Now you can see that the development disparities exist, but if I specifically talk about states, they have different comparative advantages. Example, your coastal states excel in exports, your some states in agriculture, other are in manufacturing. So of course there are a lot of development disparities that are there, but of course everyone uses it in another perspective, and of course using those resources which are available to them, they can bring improvement in their sector also. So industrialization and services sector growth are crucial for the overall state development, moving towards a surplus labor from agriculture. Industrial distribution across if I talk about the industrial distribution across states, you can see 4 states are there, which includes your Maharashtra, Gujarat, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu. They contribute 43% of the total industrial GSVA. Similarly, we have 6 northeastern states, which excludes your Sikkim as well as Assam. Now they contribute 0.7% to the industrial GVA. Now no stronger regional pattern is there for the your industrial dependencies, except a low industrial in the eastern region areas. Now sectoral analysis की अगर मैं बात करूँ, so you can see construction. So Kerala is the outliner with a high share of construction. And mining की अगर मैं बात करूँ, so Assam and Chhattisgarh, Gujarat, Maharashtra and Odisha, they together contribute 60%. Manufacturing की बात करूँ, so you can see that Tamil Nadu has the highest concentration in the factories per capita, while Bihar and Uttar Pradesh have very few registered manufacturing units. Similarly, if I talk about the key findings that are there in the industrial growth, so you can see that industrially, weak states have significant number of unincorporated industries. Enterprises, similarly, if I talk about that, what they need, so you can see here that they need a policy support just to bring formalization as well as to scale it up. Studies highlight that state level policies are there, which business reforms are also included. Infrastructure drive, your industrial progress is also included. Business reform action plan is also included, just to categorize the states based on the ease of doing business. Now Tamil Nadu footwear जो manufacturing strategy है, that is the largest contributor to the India's leather as well as your exporter also. Now we will see the government initiatives just to attract the investors that are included here. So first is your industrial estate in the rural areas for women, workforce participation. Similarly, you have land allocation in Madurai, your Siva Gangai as well for the future investments. Similarly, you have investment promotions via agencies like your guidance, attracting firms like Nike's contract manufacturing. Dedicated investment is there. And work labs are also there, which have a division for the industry academia, collaboration to align skills with the market needs. Flexible incentive package is also there, which includes your capital, payroll, as well as your land cost subsidies. Now we'll see that what is the role of services in the industrial growth. So you can see that servicification of the industries is increasing, meaning that services play a crucial role in the industrial output and exports also. So states must focus on the business reforms as well as ease of doing business. So minimal government intervention should be there. It should be kept to the private players, as the more intervention of the private players ensures that more investment is coming on and growth and development can be seen. So you can see here that what is the estimation that has been given, varying according to the different states here. Now we'll see the conclusion as well as outlook. So what are the key takeaways that we have seen from the economic survey, and what are the outlooks here? So we have seen that there is a improvement, there is a proper improvement in a lot of sectors. If I talk about the pharmaceutical sector, there is an improvement in that also, but we need to bring more of the improvement here. Now specifically talking about the cement industry, we are at a good place. Now talking about the rest of the countries, we need to bring more an improvement there, specifically talking about research and development. So we have a lack of, we need to fill that gap. So we'll see that what are the way forward that we can include. So firstly, what are the key takeaways? So industrial growth has shifted towards the sectors like chemicals, pharmaceuticals, automobile, steel, as well as machinery. Import dependency is there, which remains high in coal, your capital goods, chemicals, making the economy more vulnerable to the global price fluctuation. Similarly, if you see that future industrialization is there, which needs deregulation, deregulation as in that here we are talking about the less regulation of the government of India, and you are keeping it available for the private players to come and start investing in this particular sector. Research and development, maybe we need to put a lot of efforts. Innovation is there, workforce skill development is also there. Now MSMEs, scattered sectors, which includes your textiles, and we need financial support, easier compliance and better market access should be there. Now we can see that what are the industrial growth amid global challenges. So you can see that manufacturing growth has been slowed in the financial year 2025 due to seasonal factors, which we said that festivals is there, and you have a global trade that is also getting impacted. Monsoon is also there. Trade policies of major economies have impacted your private investment. Despite these challenges, business surveys show optimism, signaling that reforms can drive more competitiveness. Now what can be the way forward? So we need to focus on deregulation. We need to bring our focus on the more of the development of research and development. We need to improve our skills. We need to tell the entire public, we need to tell the entire the areas that we need to you can say that we need to bring more of the support to the industrial sector. Simultaneously, we need to bring more of the improvement in the you can say in the MSMEs also. Now we'll see state-wise industrial performance and business reforms are there. States have shown diverse industrial strengths, weaknesses, but of course they are in some way or another they are just contributing. If one state is specifically talking about the coastal area, so they are better in exports, they are better in something else. Similarly, we have areas which are very rich in soil, so they are contributing best in the agricultural sector. So they are contributing their best, but the you can say the areas of the industries are just differentiated. So business regulations should be put and reforms vary across the states, influencing their industrial successes. The analysis reinforces the need for the state level business friendly policies to unlock the industrial potential. Okay, so this is what is included here. This is what is included in this particular your chapter 7 survey. I hope each and everything is just clear, crystal clear to all of you. And if you still have any doubt, you can just ask me in the comment section. I'll ensure this thing that I am catering each and everyone's doubt. Now I'll meet you in the next video, wherein we'll see that what chapter 8 says and what are the improvements that are being discussed here, what are their results, and focusing on that, we'll see that what can be the way forward. So all right, thank you so much. I'll meet you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.